finding love is not just for the lucky and the few, and it's not just for the extremely beautiful, and it's not just for the very well-to-do, and it's not just for the insanely clever. It's something that normal people can attain. And my whole reason for being professionally and really personally too is helping people to know what works instead of guessing.
Welcome to yourbrilliance.com. I'm your host, Amy Waterman. Do you remember what dating was like back in 2015? Dating apps were new, Zoom didn't exist, and phone calls were still a thing. Meeting guys in person was still the most common way to start a relationship. But these days, dating is a whole different beast thanks to the pandemic and technology and these huge cultural changes. But one thing remains constant. We all want love, and we will do whatever we can to find it. Our guest for today, Duana Welch, wrote her first book on science-based dating 7 years ago. And this year, she's releasing a brand new edition for these crazy times. Love Factually offers 10 proven steps from I wish to I do. And if you are a follower of my show, you've met Duana before, you can watch our past conversations in the show notes. But in this episode, we're going to be talking about how you can stay on top of all of these changes in dating and still find the love of your life. Welcome, Duana.
Amy, thank you so much. It's been a long time, and I've really missed interacting with you and your audience. So this is a great pleasure.
Well, I know that so much has happened for me in 7 years, and I know so much has happened for you in 7 years. How has your life changed since that first edition of your book came out?
Well, I was married when the first edition came out, and I thought I would be married forever. Vic, it was all over the first edition. I'm very grateful to him for a lot of things, not the least of which is he saw that the love scientist is who I am, and he encouraged me to pursue that in a more full-time way, and I'm so glad he did. But, at the beginning of that book, I talk about the 3 A's, that marriages don't work and they're just not going to last if you have chronic addiction, chronic adultery, chronic abuse. And unfortunately, he became addicted to alcohol. And that's why my marriage to my son's father didn't work out. So I decided, you know what? There's something that I'm not noticing here. So I'm just not going to be with people. I don't drink, and I never have. It's not like a religious rule or a personal rule. It just doesn't appeal to me. I apparently don't process alcohol very well. So the times I've tried to drink, it just hasn't worked out well for me. So I thought, you know what? I can't be the only one. There have to be other people like me out there who it's not that they can't drink, they just don't. And I thought, I'm going to find one of those. So this time though, I had everything. This is what the new edition looks like. It's got a magnifying glass around a heart on the front of it. And because we're looking into the heart of love here, using science rather than opinion. And I thought, when I wrote my first books, I did not have this information when I was dating. I wrote all that after. I had some of it when I was dating, but mostly a lot of it I learned after. And science didn't stop happening just because I wrote that first book. Those scientists kept right on gathering data. So I updated the book, but of course, I knew what was going to go in the updated edition. So I was able to, I coach people all over the world. I was able to coach myself. And Amy, I kid you not, I met the right person for me 7 days after I started looking.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, he's moving here shortly. As you know, I don't do the live together thing without engagement, but we are going to get engaged and we're going to get married. And we already know that. We just haven't we haven't gone public with, we'll go public with the engagement when it's official. But he's a delightful person, and I'm crazy about him. And I'm older now, and so one of the things that I know for sure is, once a woman is 50 or older, her odds of getting remarried, even if she wants to be, are 15 and 100. It's only 15%. But a lot of that, I've learned why that is, and I've learned my way around that. And so, here I am, 53. I cut all my hair off, as you can see. And I didn't wear any more makeup for my online photos than I normally do. And I didn't grow my hair out, and I didn't wear a wig. And, I'm not busty. I don't show a lot of skin, but I knew I could do this, and I did, which I say that because really, if you want to, you can. It's finding love is not just for the lucky and the few, and it's not just for the extremely beautiful, and it's not just for the very well-to-do, and it's not just for the insanely clever. It's something that normal people can attain. And my whole reason for being professionally and really personally too is helping people to know what works instead of guessing, and then to do those things because they work. They're not hard to do. They're not hard to learn, but a lot of these things we wouldn't stumble on our own.
Yes. And I know that some people watching this haven't seen the earlier interviews I had with you. So let's just cover Love Factually. This is a science-based book based on research, and it's updated with the latest research from, the past few years, and it offers really concrete, practical, science-based tips to find love, whether it's online or whether it's in real life, right?
That's right. Yeah, it actually covers, it's still today, the only start to finish dating advice book that is based on science instead of opinion. And by start to finish, I mean, what do you need to do to get yourself ready emotionally? And in terms of what I call mental floss, what do you need to do to get ready to date? What are some old thought patterns you might have that could use some updating? Where do you find your person? What are the top 4 ways to meet somebody where the relationship could really work? How do you leverage those ways of meeting people? What do you do when you're actually on a date? How do you vet people quickly instead of at length to figure out whether they could be right for you? How do you move toward commitment? How do you have those conversations? Should you have those conversations? Do you give him your number? Does he give you his number? Just the nitty gritty, the details are in there. And as we all know, as they say, God is in the details. The details are there. How do you pick if you're going to date online, which I strongly recommend? It's a both and world. I want people to do all 4 of the ways of meeting people, not just pick one. And if you're going to do that, how do you do it? Because, dating apps really changed the game. That was probably the biggest thing that changed over the past few years. Most chapters of the book are substantially updated and revised, but the information about online dating is almost entirely changed, and there's a lot more detail about it. So, and then if you need to break up, how do you know you need to break up? What's the right time? What are the right words to use? How do you grieve? How do you move on? All of that is in the book.
I want to talk about dating apps for a second. I know that you are involved in a new dating app, and I know that that is actually one of the challenges so many online daters have is there are so many apps and there's so many choices, and it can be really hard to pick which one suits you best. So tell us a little bit about the app that you have been working with.
Well, I was the very first expert that was hired by an app called Paired, Paired. And my partner and I just passed our 365th day in a row on Paired on Tuesday. We just passed 365 days in a row. It's not actually a dating app. It's for couples because my expertise, although I write mostly about dating, my expertise extends into long-term relationships. And so I created content for them and helped shape the direction of the company to be all research-based, everything there. It's got a question of the day. For example, the app takes 3 to 5 minutes a day to use between couples. You pick a question that you want to answer. Your partner can't see your answer till they answer it as well. It gives you something to talk about. And it tells you with each question how this will help your relationship. It says, and it's always based on research. And they use the very best science. And I'm just so proud and pleased at being involved with that. So that's the Paired app. I love it. It's not only research-based, but there's research about the app that now proves that couples who use that app, even if they just use it 3 minutes a day, are 37% happier than couples who use the app more sporadically or not at all. The important thing is to use it daily, not how long you use it or how much you use it on a particular day. Anyway, it's a lot of fun because it keeps you focused on the positives of the relationship. It's unlike anything else out there. So I really love it. But when you talk about dating apps, they've really changed dating. And in my view, not for the better. My view is that dating apps, because they cater to men's desire for visual variety, and they don't cater to women's desire for more information.
Yeah.
What we know for sure has happened with apps, and I'm not talking about dating sites where you can see a lot of information about somebody. Those are great. Those have been shown in studies to result in marriages that are slightly happier than marriages that are forged any other way, other than meeting somebody from your past that you've always been in love with. Hands down, they're the most successful. But since that study came out that proved what I just said, since that study came out, now we've got apps that have really, most people have rushed, it's kind of like there'll be a hit song and then everybody makes a song that sounds like a hit song. Yeah. There was a hit app and then everybody made an app that was like the hit app. And they cater to men's desire for visual variety, and they leave out information that's not visual. So, you can put a few words about yourself or about what you're looking for, but you really can't say very much or see very much about the other person. The problem with that is that it causes people to focus on one dimension of relating to the exclusion of the things that make a relationship last. And so part of what I've had to learn to do, and that I talk about a lot more in this edition, because of course, this edition came out Valentine's Day 2022. The first one came out January 7th of 2015. So it has been 7 years. One of the things I spent a lot of time talking about with this edition is, what are your workarounds? How do you deal with that new landscape? Yeah. And one of the ways you deal with it is you figure out, and I talk about how to do this, you figure out how to do a web search that will show you which app or website is hot in your geographic location with your age demographic. There's not one place that's good for everybody.
Yes. I really appreciate you saying that, because I remember when one of the first mindfulness-based dating apps came out, this has been years ago, I thought, oh, this is so exciting, I'm going to try it. And thankfully they had a 3-day free trial. And I hopped on there and I found 2 people in my area. 2 people in my area. And a lot of the apps don't let you have a free trial before you start. And so if you sign on to an app that just sounds wonderful, sounds like exactly the sort of people you want to date, you get on there and suddenly there's just absolutely no one in your area. So that I would find a very exciting thing to learn.
Yeah. I show people, here are the tools, specific tools you can use online to figure this out for yourself. And, what age group are you targeting to date? Where are they in your geographic location? What percentage of men are on this app? What percentage of women are on this app or website, dating site? I would also say, don't go for the freebies. If you can, make sure you pay money and make sure that people who reach out to you had to pay to communicate with you. And the reason for that is that commitment avoidant people like free stuff. Mm-hmm. You want somebody my book isn't called 10 Steps from Hit It to Quit It. My book is 10 Steps from I Wish I Do. It's for people who want the whole enchilada. Yes, they want great sex and they want chemistry and connection, but they also want that to be an ongoing, lasting thing. They're not just looking to get into something short term. And by the way, that's most people. A recent study that's cited in the book showed that I believe it was on dating apps, it was half of men and 59% of women were looking for a permanent or very long-term relationship. So it's not the case that everybody's just out there playing the field. And it depends which pond you're fishing in. Fishermen don't just go any place and think they're going to catch the big fish. They know that there are certain places where your odds are higher, and good daters know this too. And so that's one reason to do the searches, but it's another reason to pay. Yeah. Because the big fish, the people who want commitment, men and women, they go someplace where they have to pay. They don't do the free version of whatever it is. When you're on an app or a site that says, everyone, you get choices. Everyone can see me. Paid members can see me. Choose paid members. Choose that. So many little tips and tricks, because we're in an environment that is, dating sites used to do this work for you. They charged money. They promoted you the whole time you were a member. Now they promote you for 2 or 3 weeks. And then who are you? Which is another reason I came up with another strategy, which is figure out which apps and sites in your area are hot and rank them top to bottom and cycle through them 1 month at a time. Is it more expensive to belong for just 1 month? Yes, but 3 months is not a good deal for you because you're yesterday's news after about 3 weeks.
That is brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. And this is something I teach too, is that you have to hit the ground running. You've got to have your profile ready from the get-go, because that first 24 hours, that first 48 hours, that's going to get the most views. But I had not ever put two and two together and thought, well, why not just get the 1 month membership and then switch to another one? That alone is worth the price of watching this interview, right? Your time for watching this interview, that tip alone is amazing. I am so impressed. You've got so much more in that book. I am so excited about everything in the new edition.
Thanks. Yeah, I was rereading it, and just to be totally honest, one reason I reread it is, Vic and I hadn't been together in quite some time, and I thought, he's all over the first edition, and I just thought it would be kind of good mental health for me to go back through and just write something for me. I wasn't even going to redo the book, actually. I was just going to do something for me that would just kind of update the examples, and because I've worked with so many people now, and so many give me permission to put their stories in my books now. So I don't have to rely so much on just my own stuff. So I thought I'll just do that just for me. And then I thought, oh, that needs to be updated. Oh, I know science about that. Oh, this is not, it wasn't that stuff was wrong. None of the new data invalidated anything in the first edition. It's just that there's so much more strategy and there's so much new stuff to do.
Yes.
And so I realized it's time, and the publisher agreed, and we hit the ground running, and the new edition's out in the world. But I'm really excited about the online dating stuff. I'm really excited about how to leverage a global pandemic. Look, I hate this pandemic, but I knew exactly how to leverage that to find the love of my life. I intentionally dated before there was a vaccine. The time when people said, oh, this is the most terrible time to date. You can't get within 6 feet of anybody. It's the best time to date. You can't get within 6 feet of anybody. When you understand how men think, what men's mating psychology is like, that's a golden opportunity anytime. And sadly, we are not done having pandemics. So I added a section in the book that's about when there's a public crisis, we hate public crises. I wish they didn't exist, but they do. And given that they do, how can we leverage that to create more love and more clarity in our lives rather than less? And I will tell you, a lot of people did the exact opposite of what was needed during the pandemic to further their love relationships. A lot of women and men had what are called pandemic partners. They met somebody, they instantly hooked up, they stayed together for, maybe a month, maybe several months, maybe a year. And predictably, what happened was the men were just having some fun, free sex for a while and, getting all the convenience of living with someone, and they knew they were moving on. And the women thought they were going to do that, but then they fell in love and got attached. And I met woman after woman whose heart was just broken, but not my clients. Because what my clients did is they used that opportunity to say, hey, you know what? It's a pandemic. I'm not getting within 6 feet of anyone until I feel really sure about someone. I'm not even going to hold hands with anybody for a long time. I get if that's not your jam, but you might want to try it, because I don't expect you to date only me. I won't be dating only you. So, you live your life, do whatever you want, but this is what I'm doing. And what happened was men and women alike got clarity. And they figured out, this is my person. And I had a lot of clients get engaged and married during that time.
That is so fantastic. So there's so much in this new edition. And for those of you watching, if you are not excited about this new edition, I think you should jump on over right now to Amazon. Check it out. Duana has a free chapter available for you on her website as a free gift. Plus, she also offers personal coaching, just in case you want that personal insight into your own love situation. So we have a link for you to get all of this amazing stuff. Just go to yourbrilliance.org/Duana. That's yourbrilliance.org/DUANA. Thank you so much, Duana, for coming onto the show. I have learned so much from you. I'm so excited about your new book. Are there any final thoughts you would like to leave our viewers with?
Yes. Love is not an optimistic proposition. It's the realistic proposition. The vast majority of people who want a lasting love in their lives get it. You can do it. You don't have to stumble around for years and years and years. I recently had a client find the love of her life at age 69. She had never had a really happy love relationship before, but she heard about what happened with my sweetheart. And I think now that, I cut all my hair off and I'm in my 50s and I don't wear very much makeup, that I think people are more inspired. I think before they thought, yeah, okay, she could find somebody great. But I think now that I'm, a couple decades older than I was when I did it before, people are really getting it. Oh, she's not just saying that. Really, this is a thing that you can do. It's, look, if you want love and you're basically kind and respectful, you will get it, but don't wait till you're 69. Change your behavior now. She's thrilled. They're going to get married. They're so cute together, just wonderful together. But, there's not just one person in the world for us. What if you did it now? I think now is better. So I leave you with that thought. And if you want to get free chapters of all my books, you can visit me at lovefactually.co. And I answer all my email for free. So I really hope I hear from you.
Thank you so much, Duana, for coming back and sharing that with us. And thank you out there for watching. Now, if you would like more interviews like these, make sure to subscribe to Your Brilliance TV here on YouTube, and then come on over to yourbrilliance.com for more tips and insights on how you can live your most brilliant life. See you next time.